going down our favorite road. Happy Sunday. It's Source Sunday. What else is going on?
It's football day.
It's football day?
If you're into that sort of thing.
Yeah, if you're into that. The trees are turning. It's slightly raining here. And we wanted to come live to talk to you guys about some of our thoughts as we were driving in to go sourcing. And yeah, give you guys some tips on one of the things that might be missing in your reselling. So, is there any other announcements to share before?
Nope, give it to them raw, baby. Give it to them raw.
All right, so we're gonna jump in and jump out because we're quickly approaching our sourcing destination. So, what's probably missing from your reselling business is a bit of patience. Because we hear a lot of people ask, well, how long do you hold on to something before you get rid of it or you donate it?
I've listed 3.5 items and I haven't sold anything yet.
It's a little facetious. Or how long do you hold on to something before you drop the price? Like, the price is the price. When we comp something, it's because we expect to get that price, knowing that we might get offers on it, but our price doesn't necessarily change because no one's purchased. If the price is a good price, it's a good price. We're just waiting for the right buyer. Yeah, we got an email from someone who took the challenge and was a little disgruntled because they had listed 20 items and they hadn't sold anything yet, and they were telling us that we should tell people exactly what to list, which, as you guys know, we tell you to list out of your house, and not everyone has the same things in their house when they're getting started. And so they wanted more from us without even doing what was prescribed, which in the challenge is to list 50 items to start. Because this is a side hustle, there's a certain level of hustle that needs to be
at your side.
At your side.
Sides.
Exercised at your side.
So there you go. There you go, being that shirt.
Oh boy. What was that?
Something.
And so, hey, they took your spot.
Sons of guns. Don't they know we're here?
That's our parking spot. So I think you guys need to realize that patience is a virtue, that you should really be focusing on listing and have patience for things selling. We'll sit on things for 6 months, a year and a half. I think we're even, actually, I just sold this morning one of the things that we listed very early on. So you're talking about a 2-year-old item.
It wasn't my favorite to sell, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Not my favorite, but
it was damaged.
a certain satisfaction.
So you can't expect, you have to let eBay know that you're serious. Like, as Jared and I were talking about this on our way over, we should have just went live then because we were on a little rampage, huh? But you can't just show up and list 20 things or 30 things and expect eBay to know that you're serious, to rank your listings, and to have the right buyer. Like, you have to think about
all the things that have to fall into place for you to sell something.
Right.
So, and again, this is a little bit of like tough talk, coach talk, out of love, right? But what we were saying earlier was the fact that people miss it because they think, I mean, here's a reality. The gift and the curse of this business is that just about any idiot with a smartphone can open up an eBay or Poshmark or Mercari account and list something.
Yep.
And the fact of the matter is there's millions of people doing that. They may list one thing here or there. So these platforms and eBay is no different. What they're looking to do is have a good product, meaning they want to know that people are serious sellers, that people are going to deliver on what they promise. And they only know that.
They don't even know if the stuff that you got is legit. They don't, like, eBay doesn't know if you're actually going to ship the item out.
No.
You know how many new sellers probably never ship the item out and just end up canceling the order?
Right.
Like, you're asking a lot of eBay to list 20 things, and how many, like, with 20 listings or 30 listings, how many solds do you expect to have?
Right. And the reality is, if you let's say you started an account last month, and you start listing things the way we suggest, right? And if you're lucky enough to sell something early on, consider yourself lucky, right? Like in my opinion, you have to get very consistent at listing items just for the platform to know this is a serious person. So we should feature their stuff in, however the algorithm works. But the reality is, I think there's a lot of false expectations out here that we're trying to correct and reset, and there's a lack of hustle in the side hustle. And again, in the beginning stages, we were doing this thing morning, noon, and night, still on a part-time basis, but just trying to do it because it had to happen. And it wasn't until we started listing things consistently. Now, we got lucky. We had some things, a broken MacBook that still sold and stuff like that, but we got lucky. But it was still because the fact that we were listing things literally consistently every day. Like, we took no day off. I'm not saying we worked 8 hours a day on it, but we worked. So when I hear people saying, hey, I listed, and again, of course, I'm being exaggerative, right? But I hear people say, I listed 3.5 items, I haven't sold anything yet. What's wrong? What's going on here? Or this doesn't work. No, the reality is you haven't put enough work in consistently to get a result. It's like baking something, right? Like, my wife's an amazing cook, so she could tell you better than I. But if there's a certain finished product that you want, you have to put all the ingredients in, and then you have to cook it, I'm assuming, at the right time, right?
Yep.
And this business is not that much different, right? So it can give you some amazing fruits, but you have to have the right expectation and be willing to roll up your sleeves a little bit, right? And do the things that we talk about in this community.
And you have to have the patience to allow yourself to put everything in your favor. You have things stacked up against you. eBay doesn't know that you're a seller that's going to fulfill your orders. Buyers might not trust you. If you have zero feedback, a lot of buyers won't buy from someone who doesn't have feedback. There are always people who will, because, again, if you're selling RUV items, people just want the item. Some people don't care. So you have to wait for those people to, to see and trust you. There's a lot that's stacked against you, and so the best way you can stack the odds in your favor is to hustle new listings up, and then have patience to let those items sell. If you have 30 items listed and you have a sell-through rate of, 20%, that's 6 items, but that you're not going to have a 20% sell-through rate from day one. Like, we talk about your results being like 90 days away. Like, right. The work you put in today.
What effort. This is what we teach in 0 to 60, right? And this is like a little bit higher level stuff that those people who are serious about making this a business. No, but I'm going to share the concept. So in this business, the success and the results that you're having right now today, October 20th, happy birthday, Mom, love you. The results you're having October 20th today really stems from actions you started taking 90 days ago.
In July.
So 90 days ago was July. Was it July or August?
July.
August, September. Yeah, okay. So I need you guys to remember that. Like don't freak out if you're not selling the shit out of your items. Realize, you know what? I'm working really 90 days in arrears. So if you sell something before 90 days, consider yourself lucky, right? Pat yourself on the back for doing the right thing and taking action. But realize this business is 90 days in arrears. So the success we're having in our businesses, right, in my baby store and stuff like that, it was from work I put in 90 days ago. That's just now catching up.
Yeah.
If you guys are making sense, thank you, Ryan, for saying that. But if this is making sense, go ahead and put in the comments if you're watching the replay, #replay. But again, this is kind of like coach talk. So you got Coach Hal here, and it's out of love, but it's the truth. And we just want more people to have proper expectations and be putting in the proper work, right? If you list 5 items all week, honestly, what do you expect? Right, so that's why we preach consistency. That's why we preach DMOs. Always remembering your MMA, your money-making activity. It should be a really short list for you guys. What do you actually make money on in reselling? Everything else, complaining about eBay having a glitch, talking about the CEO leaving, they changed the font on the app. Like it boggles my mind, some of the stuff I hear people talking about. And you know what I'm doing? I got my little blinders on, and I'm listening, and I'm listening. And I'm listening. Or a day like today, we're sourcing. And I'm listening. And I'm listening. And I promise you who's going to win the race.
Yeah.
And I want you guys to win this race. So it's important that we all get on the same page. Let the gossip, let the complaining, like leave that for other groups, man. Leave that for the amateurs. Because at a certain point, it doesn't matter. There's literally 3 things that's going to make you money in this business. And learning how to do those 3 things at an elite level, right? That's what's going to make you successful. That's what's going to elevate you above the morass of all of the bottom feeders, I call them, in reselling. Why are you smiling? I'm going too deep?
No.
I'm sorry.
I just like the word morass, that's all.
Yeah? We should look up the origin of morass.
Oh. Did I ever tell you that I wanted to be a...
Can I tell you something? I noticed Ryan, Cheryl, I got like people who I always see commenting who never take it the wrong way, who always appreciate the soft love and the tough love. Like, you guys are always the ones, somehow coincidentally, who do good. Do good, that's horrible grammar. But who do well, who have better results. So again, I think there's some kind of tie-in to that. So I really appreciate you guys, again, hearing this, taking what you can out of this and knowing that it comes from a place of wanting to see you guys succeed. Because I know where we were at not even 3 years ago. Like, we were desperate for this thing to work.
Yeah.
So that was it. I'm off my soapbox now.
Yeah. We're gonna source.
We're gonna go source. I'm gonna find me some gold. Oh, I had a good night last night. Well, I'll talk about it later. I'll talk about it on Source Sunday.
What are you talking about?
I had sales. I woke up to sales, man.
Oh yes, we did wake up to sales.
I do this thing.
Yeah, last week sourcing was a little. Wasn't our best sourcing trip. The selection was. You did pretty good.
Yeah, I do all
with
right,
that
man.
crew cough, cry cough.
I did all right.
I was a little sparse. I only got 12 pounds. So, but all that stuff is listed.
That's good. That's all that matters. So we got to sit down, and then what we have to do, because trust me, we like to practice what we teach. So we're not perfect. Our business isn't flawless. In our pursuit to get to a solid 6 figures part-time, like, there's some things that we're lax on doing, right? So one of them is sourcing at least one more time a week.
Yeah.
So we've gotten a little bit lazy. We've gotten used to, when you get into the high, 5 figures relatively on autopilot, you can get lazy with that.
A little
complacent, right? But I know that's not going to get us to our goal of cracking 6 figures consistently, still, part-time. So I know that's one big area that we need to tighten up. So we all have areas, again, we're not coming off like that. We're just saying for most of you guys who are watching me right now, watching Hallie right now, you're in the beginning stages of the business. So we're talking more to you than people who, if you're already making $50,000+ a year from reselling part-time, do you know what I mean? But I'm talking to people where we were at in January and in February, March of 2017, trying to figure some things out.
Yeah, so have some patience. Again, remember, you're 90 days in arrear. If you sell anything before that, consider yourself lucky, but start putting those consistent habits into play, and I promise you'll wake up. It'll be a lot sooner than 90 days, but you'll wake up and you'll be like, I like how this thing is going. Yeah. And if you're inconsistent, like 90 days of consistency is really where it's at. So.
And I'd be curious, like, probably at this stage, like a lot of the 0 to 60 students, you guys, among some of the others, would be the ones who I think would have 90 days of consistency. So I would love for you to chime in with your experience of, now being able to look back 90 days and kind of, what do they say? Hindsight is 20/20. So now you're in a position where you could easily look back and say, you know what? You're absolutely right. This is my results right now, and I can see how you could tie it into to 90 days ago in July or August.
Yeah. So we're gonna get to it. I've just seen about 10 cars pull in since we parked.
They get my gold, man.
They're getting our stuff, so we gotta go.
I hope you guys enjoyed this. We should see you later today. Again, happy Source Sunday, and thanks for checking us out.
Bye, guys.
Ciao.